Hi everybody, and welcome back to Lost Genre Reddit Stories. This post is from the subreddit Am I the A-hole, and it's by user AITA MedBroStay. Am I the a-hole for kicking my brother out of my husband's birthday party and telling him to return to his precious operating room? My family, including me, are all medical doctors. My dad is a retired ER physician. He is 67. My mom is a still working ENT surgeon. She is 66. My brother is a cardiothoracic surgeon, 37, and I am an algologist, 39 male. All of my family sees our job as their only motive in life. Don't get me wrong, I love my job and I really love what I have accomplished, but I have other hobbies and a life outside the hospital. My brother doesn't. He never got married because he thought ladies were interfering with his purpose. And I was seen as the lazy one in the family because I would go on vacations on my mid-breaks. My brother would go to our parents' house and study 24/7 during his mid-breaks. Luckily, I had sane professors at medical school who had a work-life balance approach very contrasting to that of my family and showed me that what they were doing was harmful in the long term. I got married during my residency to my husband, 48 male, who is a psychiatrist, and we currently have a really good work-life balance. We can take our time off easily and we don't burn out. It also helps that we operate our private clinic together, so we are our own bosses. Now, I don't see my brother very often, and I will be honest in saying that he turned into one of the most narcissistic surgeons I have ever met. He only talks about himself, about what he has accomplished, and how he's a very good surgeon. That is his whole personality. I've also never seen him talk about another person unless it's a family member or someone he wants to bury in the ground. I also know the clinic he works and people do not like him either. Anyways, last weekend was my husband's birthday and we invited both of our extended families to our house. Well, when my brother got into our house, everything started to go downhill. At first, he stood in front of the door for 10 minutes because no one cheered his name. Then he said he wants to drink something strong because he is a cardiothoracic surgeon, and before the party he had a case that lasted a whole 7 hours. Then he started to talk about his OR memories and said it needed the dedication, but lazy OP does not waste any time to go on vacation. It started to get on my nerves, but my husband asked me to cool down. And after 2 hours, I lost it when my brother said, "Of course, I am your superior. You chose to sit in a clinic. I am always at the OR feeling the purity of life in my hands." I started to scream. I really unloaded all of the stuff I feel and kicked him out of my house and said, "Maybe you can stick your butt in your OR forever and never bother me again while I work in my lazy chair." My parents got furious. We had a fight and they left my house. This outburst happened in front of most of our work circle, and I might have ruined our reputation by losing control. So, am I the a-hole? OP, absolutely not. You are not the a-hole. Your brother was behaving like an a-hole, and apparently he is an a-hole. It was your husband's birthday. What deal does he have trying to put you down in front of everybody by calling you lazy or whatnot? He is so self-absorbed that he judges everybody else by his own standards and thinks that everybody is either lazy or an idiot because they're not like him, right? I mean, that's what he does to you. And also, your parents are a-holes. Instead of shutting him down and then talking to you or something like that, they got annoyed that you might have ruined everybody's reputation by having an outburst like that. Come on, he was bullying you in your house. You were absolutely in the right to kick him out and act that way. So again, to me OP, you are not the a-hole. And what is your judgment in this situation? Let me know in the comment section, and now let's move on to the community comments to see their judgment. Harless Bronson says, not the a-hole. Quote, "Of course I am your superior. You chose to sit in a clinic. I am always at the OR feeling the purity of life in my hand." Dude has a god complex. He may be a very skilled surgeon, but I hope all of his patients are unconscious and don't have to be subjected to his personality. This martyr complex towards their profession your family has is very unhealthy and dangerous because who the heck wants a doctor who is burnt out from working 24/7? I'll take the one who just got back from an extended vacation and is feeling well rested, thanks. And OP responds, "I'm not gonna lie, he is very skilled and always jumps to get the most complex cases in the area. The weird thing is, at the hospital, he makes a 180-degree turn. I observed him while I was working as a neurologist before I did my fellowship in algology. He is very kind and caring for his patients. Now, my family thinks we are superior to normal humans and we should be treated as royals because we are doctors and we are taking the responsibility of a human life firsthand. Freya Sunshine says, how many cardiothoracic surgeons does it take to change a light bulb? Just one. He holds the light bulb and the world revolves around him. CT surgeon equals narcissist with few exceptions. I am an anesthesiologist and I have worked with them. The experience was bad enough that I decided early in my career to avoid CT cases. Let it go. You have a family and a good work-life balance. He can die alone in the pile of money he's made. Truly great people don't have to tell you that they're great. He must be insecure at heart. If you have to interact in the future, grade rock his ass, not the a-hole. And OP responds, honestly, most of the CT surgeons I know, except my brother and a professor who was a huge douche in med school, are really good people. Sure, they are proud of their work, but I never saw this kind of ego in them except for these two. I also started as an anesthesiologist in my career, then I transferred to neurology in my 6th month because I hated the OR. And my first OR was cardiothoracic actually. I loved the CT team I worked with and I still see some of them occasionally for a night out. Luckily, my brother doesn't have that much of a social circle, so he basically knows nothing about my life and I only have to see him 2 to 3 times a year. I have grade rocked him without knowing I was grade rocking him for all these years. Additional information from OP's comments. If it wasn't my husband's birthday, I would have kicked his ass the minute he showed up, but he and my husband have a good relationship surprisingly. Sometimes I want to go no contact with him, but I know I would not be able to talk with my parents because they will take his side. Also, all of the nurses who encounter him hate him. That doesn't surprise me, but all of us are still shocked by the fact that he prefers pediatric cases. He is very good with the kids, maybe the only age group he is good with. As for my husband and me, we work in the same clinic, but we don't have linked patients mostly. We did this to pay less money on stuff we use actually. He, of course, helps me often when I regulate a patient's medications if it involves antipsychotics or antidepressants. Yes, we use them in algology a lot. Or I help him if he has to use opiates or benzos, but it is mostly for economical reasons and we can also share the utilities, like documentation service, information management system, etc. And for those wondering about algology, it's basically pain management, expert in algae plus neurology. I think they call it pain management specialty in the US, but we still get the same education. We are rare, but not that rare, and although I practice at my own private clinic, I still see patients mostly referred from nearby hospitals. I am still linked to the universal healthcare system in my country, and I still go to consults and give lectures at a regional training hospital. We are from the EU, and all of the algologists in my country fit in one WhatsApp group. Okay, well, the community says not the a-hole, and we learned something about algology, which I have to confess I did not know existed up until this moment. So now we are ready to move on to the update and see how this story ends. So I got some really good suggestions on how to establish boundaries and also to talk with my parents about it. But I would also like to say thank you to another MD who PM'd me, who also comes from a family of doctors, and recommended a way I should act in this situation. Anyway, I had a stern talk with my parents, not as their kid, but as their colleague and their equivalent in the medical profession. I addressed my concerns about my brother and his behavior in the hospital. They were pretty horrified when they discovered how he was acting in the hospital. My brother and I are working in the same hospital group. Our mom is working at the other end of the city. And how unprofessional he was. Although my mom has a bit of a surgeon ego as well, I never saw or heard her acting towards her team in the bossy way my brother did with his. And my dad was one of the best ER doctors that I have ever heard of. Although they weren't very good parents, they are really good doctors and professional examples in the community. My brother got a serious lecture from them, but it all turned out for the worse because they started to favor me as opposed to him in an instant. While this was happening, my husband and I started to recognize a pattern. It turns out that my parents' favoritism really messed us up. I had to cut them off in the middle of them talking down to my brother and had to say as much. They were ashamed, and due to them being smart and my husband explaining what was going on, they understood their wrongdoings, but of course, it's too little too late. Anyway, because of this, I decided to cut my parents out of my life other than for professional matters, and my brother also decided to do the same. Although my parents did not like it, they understood the reasoning and told us good luck with our lives. My brother publicly apologized to his team for being a douche all of the time last morning and asked them to warn him when he is behaving like a craphead. He also started to attend counseling, which I will also be a guest in from time to time, and he just had his first 2 sessions. I also apologized to my husband for losing my control and not acting like a sane guy at the party, even though he said it wasn't necessary, but it made me feel better about myself. So that's it. Thank you everyone. Also, thank you to MDs who PM'd me and helped me to pave the way. Your friendly pain management doctor signs out. Also, to the user who said I am a pain dude, I put this on my CV, so thanks for being the inspiration. Wow, that turned around really quickly. Your husband really figured out what was going on and put you and your brother on the right path. And you guys got rid of your parents who apparently effed up your lives. But apparently it's all for the better. So thank you so much for sharing, OP, and all the best in the future. Now, let's move on to the next post. This post is from the subreddit Malicious Compliance and it's by user Kilted Turtle. Sort of parking out? Okay, let me know if this works for your company with V in their name. Back in the heyday, a fiber company with the letter V in their name was jamming fiber into the ground as fast as they could. They came to our townhouse village. We got notice that they would be starting the next Monday and that they would be going along the inside edge of the sidewalks to say primary fibers, and if we wanted it to come to the house, to paste this orange sign on the front of our doors. Okay, I was happy with the current provider, so no orange for me. Parking is tight, with spaces for residents marked and some for visitors marked. I was surprised to come home on Friday to see a ditch witch cable digging insertion machine across 3 spaces my family normally used. I said to the workmen that they were in my spaces and they were across them. Why not move to the visitor spot next spot over, and rather than being across them, just put the machine in the spot like it was a car. That way it would take 1 spot, not 3. Digger guy goes, I already said it there, I have other work, you can sort out the parking, and drove off. Okay, fine. So I park my car as close as I can get to the machine, using the visitor spot. When the next car arrives, we place it as close to the machine in the space on the other side. The next car went across the 3 spaces parallel to the machine. This blocks it in 3 sides. Can't get out the 4th since there are concrete bumpers. Plus lack of wiggle room. Others make alternative plans to get to work. I stay home to watch the action. Digger guy shows up, sees that he's blocked and is very sad. Stomps around the digger, around the cars, around the digger, another pass around the cars. They go to the first townhouse, no answer. 2nd, 3rd, 4th, all at work. Gets to me. Are those your cars? Yep, parked in my spot. You need to move them. Nope, busy with other work, and I close the door. Bang, bang, bang! You can't block me in! You can't park there! I can park there, and look at them, I already did. You said for me to sort my parking out on Friday, and I did. I'm going to call the police. Go for it, and I closed the door. About an hour passed, knock at the door. I'm the site engineer for a company with V in their name. Are those your cars? Yep, you need to move them. Nope. When your work drone dropped the machine off, I suggested rather than take up 3 spaces, take up 1. They said I should sort my own parking out. I did, and I have other work to do. Closed the door. More knocking that I ignored. By now, there is a crowd of work people milling around. Another hour passes. New knocking. I'm the senior project engineer for a company with a V in their name. Are those your cars? Yep. You need to move them. No, when your work drone dropped the machine off, I suggested rather than take up 3 spaces, they take up 1. They said I should sort my own parking out, and I did. I have other work to do. We'll call the police. You do that. Close the door. While finishing lunch, knock out the door. This is the police. Open up and ask how I can help. I get told by Officer Obi to move my car or they would be towed. I pointed to the private property sign and said, this is a private parking lot. You don't have jurisdiction. In fact, when we have complained about issues, your chief has said you don't have jurisdiction. So you can't call the tow. You need to deal with the homeowners association. Some splatter by Officer Obi, but acknowledged that they don't have jurisdiction to call a tow and left. Late afternoon, knock at the door. Hey OP, this is member of the HOA. I open up, we go out, I explain the situation to them. HOA yells at people from company that has a V in their name. Company people look sad. HOA members asks how can we solve this? I go, well, illegal parking is a $100 fine. They are across 3 spaces, so that would be a $300 fine. They pay that and we can call it a day. Winking at HOA member. That works. I fine you $300 per day, company with V in their name. Senior engineer with a company with a V in their name goes, okay, we will pay it. Move the cars. I go, they look like they will pull a runner on you. I'd get payment first. Good idea. You can pay me the fine since I'm the HOA. I can get the check today. When you get the check, you can start. Otherwise, there is a bank down the street. Cash will work. Senior engineer links away. HOA member and I chat outside while worker drones mill around. Senior engineer returns, hands cash to HOA member and goes, okay, now move your cars. I comply with putting cars in other slots. When I come back from moving the last car, I see the digger parked in the visitor spot correctly, like a car. I say, what's up with that, HOA member? Well, they decided they had wasted the entire day and would start again tomorrow. They came and did the wires the next 3 days. Each day the digger was returned to its spot. Oddly, I never saw the guy that wanted me to sort my own parking out again. Well, OP, that was what they wanted you to do. Plus, this is the first story I've read on Reddit where the HOA is actually playing for the good guys. Thanks for sharing, OP. Now, let's move on to another Reddit post. This post is from the subreddit Petty Revenge and it's by user Lead Robots. Why the hell would I help you with the Wi-Fi? This happened years ago, but I was just thinking about it again recently. I had just ended a 2-year relationship because my partner cheated. During those 2 years, I did a lot of tech support for my partner since I'm good at that. About 2 weeks after the relationship ended, the homewrecker calls me from my ex's number asking for help with the Wi-Fi password and security settings. Tech support is in my nature, but this really rubbed me the wrong way. Not only do I not want to help now, but I really didn't want to sign myself up for future help by being helpful now. Anyone who has done tech support for a family knows if you do it once, they rely on you to do it forever. So I put on my customer service voice and pretended to help while I'm really just walking through factory resetting the router. Once the secure password and configuration are gone, it's no longer my problem. Homewrecker is blindsided by this, has no idea how to set a router back up. It wasn't as easy in those days as it is now, but I end the call with, there, now I have no idea what the password is, so I can't help. Good luck, don't call me again. And I hang up and block the number. Wow, OP, even though that was a petty revenge and a really cool one, actually taking the call to speak with a homewrecker? Wow, you are a way bigger person than me. I would have just hung up probably. Anyway, thanks for sharing, OP. And it's that time that we've reached the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed today's stories. I really did enjoy reading them to you. So if you did, then don't be shy and go ahead and give the video a like. And don't forget to subscribe or even share this video with people that you might think will enjoy my storytelling. Also, if you have the time, go down to the video description and check out all the links I have for you, from our Discord community to my channel merch. And finally, I'd like to say thank you for watching. It really means a lot to me that you enjoy my videos. And having said all that, I'll see you guys in the next video.